Hey guys, welcome back. Today we'll be going over a full body calisthenic warm-up to prime your body prior to your strength training. If you want to go straight to the warm-up, go to the timestamp located below. If you want a list of the full routine, just screenshot at this timestamp below. But I recommend watching the first half as I'll briefly go over the goal of a warm-up, its structure, and why you're doing it. Now you'll probably hear me say this more than once, but I believe that understanding why you're about to do something may elicit a better response physically. Also, I apologize for my 5th grade handwriting. Keep in mind, this specific warm-up is best suited for those performing a full-body calisthenic workout involving basic compound movements such as pull-ups, push-ups, dips, rows, and squats. This routine is also beginner-friendly, as I provide alternatives throughout the video. Just make sure to add variations that'll best suit your needs for your main session. So the goal of a warm-up is to prepare your body and mind for the upcoming session. Preparing yourself physically and mentally by implementing a structured and effective warm-up can help improve performance, including faster muscle contractions, increased blood flow throughout your body, enhanced mental preparedness, clearly I did not warm up before making this, and other beneficial physiological changes. Not to mention, having a structured and effective warm-up may have the potential to reduce your risk of injury. Okay, so a solid warm-up consists of 3 different phases. First, a general preparation phase, which will help increase blood flow to your muscles, connective tissues, and for lack of a better term, help lubricate your joints along with other physiological changes to prepare you physically and mentally. The next phase is a mobility phase. This is where you'll perform a circuit of dynamic full range of motion movements, which is performed in relation to the sport or training at hand, which will then be followed by activation and positional drills. These drills will help work on key movement patterns, helping to enhance motor control, or rather, neurologically improve our ability to perform desired movements more efficiently. In regards to time, we want to keep a warm-up between 10 to 15 minutes long, at max 20 minutes. So ideally, we'd like to land somewhere between the 10 to 15 minute range. This specific routine shouldn't take you longer than 15 minutes when performed consecutively. Either way, if you wish to use this routine, just take the time to learn it, no need to rush, and move at your own pace. We do not want to exhaust ourselves completely during a warm-up. Remember, the goal of a warm-up is to prepare the body and mind, and if we're way too exhausted after the warm-up, we'll be compromising our main session. With that being said, let's get to it. Alright, the general prep is fairly straightforward. Just choose a low intensity exercise to get your heart rate up, your core temperature up, and blood flowing throughout your body, whether it's with jumping jacks, jogging, distance crawling, jump rope, some aerobic activity to get you going. This shouldn't take you longer than 2 minutes, especially if you're in a warm location. You'll know you're ready when your heart rate is going and you are lightly sweating. Now we'll begin our mobility phase. We'll begin with the mobility circuit using full range of motion dynamic movements, starting with our upper half, then moving on to our lower half. The goal here is to be present with each movement and control the range of motion. I recommend using a mat or a soft surface. We'll start with shoulder rolls, then go straight into elbow and wrist rotations. These shoulder rolls will help warm up the shoulder blade region and help release some tension. We'll be rotating our shoulders 10 reps backwards and then 10 reps forward. Control each rotation and make a full circle. To help warm up the elbows, we'll perform clockwise and counterclockwise rotations for 10 to 15 reps in each direction. If it's a bit confusing performing the rotations with both your arms, just perform the rotations one arm at a time. Then onto our wrists to get them warm, clasp your hands together and rotate clockwise and counterclockwise for 10 to 15 reps in each direction. Once we are done with our rotations, we'll move on to a wrist routine on the floor. We'll get on all fours and start with your palms on the floor, fingers facing forward, arms straight, and then begin to slightly lean back and forth for 10 to 12 reps. Repeat this with your fingers facing you. These will help improve moving into wrist extension and stretch your flexors, which can prepare your wrists for exercises such as push-ups on a flat surface. Move on to the back of your hands now, with your fingers facing you, pulsating back and forth for 10 to 12 reps. We're stretching out our extensors. There's no need to apply a lot of pressure here, just gently move in the range of motion that you can and improve over time. We'll finish this wrist routine with a little strengthening movement, palm lifts. With your hands on the floor, lift your palms up off the floor, stacking your wrist over your hands, and slowly lower them down. Again, performing 10 to 12 reps. This little wrist routine should help prime your wrists. Staying on all fours, we'll move on to mobilizing our spine and shoulder blades with the cat-cow. To perform this correctly, keep your arms straight throughout the entire movement, keep your elbow pits facing forward, and your shoulders depressed and away from your ears. Take a deep inhale as you lower down into retraction, extend your lower back, and slowly lift up your head. There's no need to extend your neck too much, just keep it in a neutral position. Just imagine your shoulder blades squeezing together as you lower down and arch your lower back while lifting up your head. As you exhale, begin to slowly flex your neck while protracting your shoulders and posteriorly tilting your pelvis. Just imagine trying to bring your belly button towards your face while your arms are straight, pushing your shoulder blades away from the ground. Take your time when performing the cat-cow. We want to go from anywhere between 6 to 8 reps when we're performing this. 1 full rep equates to using both motions. Now we'll move on to some spinal rotation, using quadruped thoracic rotations. The thoracic region tends to be a neglected area and is often a site of stiffness. Mobilizing the thoracic spine can help improve range of motion and function of our shoulders, which is crucial for our calisthenic training. On all fours, first bring your hips back slightly. This will help prevent our lower back from taking over the movement. If you are starting with your left side, place your left hand on the back of your head and push into the ground with your right arm. As you begin to rotate your left side, try bringing your elbow up towards the sky as you rotate. There's no need to force a range of motion you can't yet use. Just go as far as you can comfortably and improve over time. We'll finish our upper body with some shoulder dislocates. You can use a broomstick, towel, or band to perform the movement. Place your hands as far apart as possible when starting this to make it easier at first. Maintain straight arms and elevate your shoulders at the top of the movement to help create some space as you complete the full rotation. Shoulder dislocates have a wide range of benefits, including improving shoulder girdle mobility while strengthening and preparing muscles and tendons of the rotator cuff. For shoulder dislocates, we're shooting for 8 to 12 reps. Remember, once again, do not try to force a range of motion that you are not yet ready for. You should feel no pain at all when doing this. If this is too tough for you to perform, stick to single arm circle rotations for the moment. If you're doing the single arm rotations, perform anywhere from 5 to 8 reps forward and 5 to 8 reps backwards. Moving on to our lower body, we'll start with some standing hip circles, rotating clockwise for 5 reps and counterclockwise for another 5. Bring your knee to 90 degrees and begin to rotate clockwise, making a full rotation. Engage your core to avoid rotating your upper body. You'll perform a total of 10 reps for each leg. Hold on to something for support if needed and control each rotation. This is great for priming the hips and can help improve your range of motion over time. Now we'll focus on warming up our ankles and hip flexors using a lunge stance, starting with our ankles. Kneel down into a lunge position with your knees at 90 degrees. Make sure your working foot is planted throughout the entire movement and that your knee is moving slightly past the toes to ensure that you're encouraging that passive dorsiflexion stretch. You'll be leaning back and forth for about 10 to 12 reps. Improving this range can help improve your overall squat performance by allowing you to maintain an upright torso during a squat, as limited mobility and dorsiflexion is a factor that could force you to lean forward during your squat, which can be a less than optimal position, especially when there is an external load on your back. Now moving on to stretching our hip flexors. Staying in the same position, bring your front foot forward a little further, posteriorly tilt your pelvis, and begin leaning forward and back slowly as you'll stretch the hip flexor of the opposing leg. Perform this as well for about 8 to 10 reps. We'll finish off the mobility portion with an overhead squat. The overhead squat allows us to work on our shoulder, spine, hip, and ankle mobility all in one. The goal here is to maintain an upright torso with your arms straight and overhead while performing a squat. Now, if you can't go all the way down, that's no big deal. Just go as far as you can. If you're having trouble performing the full squat due to tight ankles, just place an object under your heels and it'll make it much easier to perform. If this is too much for you, you can do an assisted deep squat. Assist yourself into the squat and then assist yourself back up and repeat. Perform a total of 8 to 10 reps for the overhead squat or the assisted deep squat. On to the activation and positional drills. We'll be performing a total of 4 drills to finish up our warm-up. We'll begin with scapular pulls. For overhead pulling work, such as pull-ups, we need to learn how to properly set our shoulder blades prior to performing pull-ups. Scapular pulls will not only help improve our pulling strength, but also help ingrain proper technique and develop stability when performing pull-ups. For the scap pulls, start in a dead hang and make sure your arms remain straight. We are retracting and depressing our shoulder blades with each rep. Imagine pulling yourself up towards the bar without bending your arms. squeezing your shoulder blades together while your shoulders are moving away from your ears. You can perform easier variations of this if you have access to a lower bar or a pair of rings where you can place your feet on the floor. Just make sure the movement is still coming from your shoulder blades with no help at all from your lower half. Make sure to hold at the top for 3 to 5 seconds, performing 4 to 6 reps. Next will be scapular push-ups. The same concept applies in regards to developing proper positioning, stability, and strength. Now for push-ups. We'll start in a push-up position with our arms remaining locked and straight. With our shoulders down and away from the ears to begin to slowly retract your shoulder blades. And once you hit the bottom, then begin to slowly protract your shoulder blades. There's no need to excessively round the upper back. Just protract slightly at the top and hold for 3 to 5 seconds. If you need to, you can perform easier variations of this, whether it be on your knees or on all fours. Just make sure to brace your core. Posteriorly tilt your pelvis. Do not let your back arch. Again, 4 to 6 reps here, using a full range of motion as always. For the third drill, we'll be working on dip shrugs. This is great for improving our dips. You can perform this on regular dip bars, but I'll be showing you the easier variations with your feet planted on the floor. Just remember, do not use your feet to assist you during the movement. Everything should be coming from your shoulder blades. If you have access to low parallettes, dumbbells, or an iron gym, it can make this easier if you're having trouble using dip bars. With your arms locked and straight, slowly sink down, bringing your shoulders towards your ears into scapular elevation, and then press your shoulders away from your ears into scapular depression. This position is where we want to gain stability and strengthen to improve our dips. Hold this top position for 3 to 5 seconds and then repeat for 4 to 6 reps. For the last drill, we'll be performing 15 to 30 second plank or hollow body holds. These positional drills will help further ingrain solid habits for body positioning and stability, helping to improve form during your bodyweight exercises. For the plank, make sure you're bracing your core, posteriorly tilt your pelvis, squeeze your glutes, keep your shoulders away from your ears, and slightly protract your shoulder blades. Really squeeze here and provide tension throughout your body for 15 to 30 seconds. An alternative here is the hollow body hold. Laying on your back, press your lower back into the floor, bracing your core, and provide tension throughout your entire body as you hold for 15 to 30 seconds. Alright guys, that concludes the full body warm-up for a basic calisthenic routine. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this is the perfect warm-up because it's only perfect if it works for you. If you want to keep the same structure and implement similar drills that you feel will suit your needs better, please do so. If you guys found this routine to be helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching this, and I hope it helps you guys out on your calisthenic journey. With that being said, enjoy the process.